The war between Autobots and Decepticons had ended, or so the world believed, but peace on Earth is never more than a fragile illusion, and in the frozen silence of Antarctica, something ancient and mechanical began to stir, a whisper carried through the metallic veins of the planet itself, a pulse so faint that only machines could feel it. Buried miles beneath the ice lay the skeletal remains of an ancient Cybertronian Ark, its power core flickering weakly after millions of years of slumber, whispering one forgotten name again and again, Omega Protocol, reinitializing. Far across the world, in a small Nevada town lit only by the hum of power lines and the shimmer of desert heat, a young mechanic named Eli Carter spent his nights surrounded by old engines, rusted cars, and radio equipment scavenged from scrap yards. Since the Autobots had vanished after the Peru War, Eli had become obsessed with decoding alien frequencies, hoping to hear a signal from the stars, but what he found that night was far beyond what any human could comprehend. His old receiver sputtered to life, filling the air with distorted static before the screen flashed in shimmering blue Cybertronian glyphs, a transmission so ancient it burned into the circuits. The primes have returned. Eli stared at the screen, his reflection flickering against the alien code, unaware that in that instant, something across the galaxy had heard him too. Light years away, on the edge of a dying star, Optimus Prime stood alone on a desolate cliff of molten rock, watching the last fragments of a forgotten world crumble into dust. His armor was scorched, his voice weary as he spoke into the comm link that crackled through space. We fought for freedom, and yet the echoes of war still haunt the stars. I fear the battle was never truly over, Bumblebee. The ever-loyal Scout's reply came through the static. If the signal is true, Optimus, someone has awakened, something older than us. Prime's optics dimmed as he turned toward the void, whispering, then our duty is not done. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Earth's wastelands, deep within the carcass of a fallen Decepticon warship, Starscream lived, his once gleaming armor rusted and cracked, his voice dripping venom as he raged to a small swarm of scavenger drones. Megatron's era died with his weakness. But I will rise stronger, smarter, unstoppable. This planet shall kneel before the new Decepticon order. His declaration was interrupted by a deep tremor echoing from the south. He looked to the sky as auroras twisted unnaturally above the Earth's poles. Beneath Antarctica, pressure built for hours until, with a thunderous crack, the ice split open like glass, sending shards miles into the air as a gigantic metallic hand broke free, fingers glowing with molten light. From the chasm rose a colossus ancient, immeasurable, its chest engraved with the faded symbols of the forgotten primes. His voice roared through every satellite and radio wave on the planet. I am Titanus Oblivion, the first exile of creation, and Cybertron's ashes have birthed my return. The new order begins here. Across the galaxy, alarms blazed aboard the Ark II as Optimus Prime's optics ignited with resolve. Autobots, prepare for re-entry. Oblivion has awakened. Earth must not fall. Bumblebee slammed his fist against the console, Mirage tightened his servos with excitement, Arcee loaded her plasma rifles, and the Maximals Cheater and Rhinox prepared for the coming storm. Yet before their ship could reach orbit, an unknown fleet materialized from hyperspace, sleek black warforms with no insignia, silent as shadows, blocking their path. Those are not Decepticons, Mirage muttered, scanning the field, and Optimus grimly replied, no, they are something far worse. On Earth, guided by the strange transmissions, Eli journeyed alone into the blizzard-covered wastelands of Antarctica, his small plane battered by snow and lightning until he crashed near a glowing fissure in the ice. There, buried half alive beneath shards of frozen crystal, he found a dying Autobot, its face ancient and noble. I am Vectorion, it gasped, the words echoing in both mechanical and human frequencies. Oblivion seeks the matrix of legacy. If he claims it, all timelines will collapse past, present, and future alike. Before Eli could respond, the ground beneath him erupted, unleashing an army of metallic skeletons, the reforged forgotten warriors rebuilt from the corpses of Cybertron's earliest soldiers, their glowing eyes reflecting no allegiance, no mercy. Titanus Oblivion rose over them like a god, his shadow blanketing the horizon, his voice entering Eli's mind directly, a thunder that felt alive. You are flesh touched by fate, small one. You will bear witness to the rebirth of my world upon yours. The earth itself screamed as fissures opened and storms ripped through the polar sky. Then, through clouds of fire and ice, a comet of blue light tore down from the heavens. It was Optimus Prime, his sword ignited in righteous fury. He landed with a shockwave that shattered the ice and bellowed, I am Optimus Prime, and as long as one Autobot stands, this world will never fall. The battle exploded across the sky, Arcee racing through falling glaciers, Bumblebee charging head-on into waves of reforged soldiers, Mirage flickering through invisibility to strike from behind, Cheater leaping across the ice like lightning, and Rhinox hurling frozen boulders like meteors. Starscream swooped through the chaos, laughing hysterically, fool. You think you can stop a god? Oblivion will erase you all. Above them, Optimus and Oblivion clashed in a storm of fire and metal, sword against cosmic flame, each strike cracking the sky open, every blow echoing like thunder across continents. Eli, barely standing amid the destruction, reached out to shield Vectorion's shattered core when a radiant blue surge erupted from his chest, the matrix of legacy awakening within him. His eyes glowed with pure Cybertronian energy as whispers of countless timelines flooded his mind, battles long forgotten, heroes yet unborn, futures that could never be. Optimus felt it too, sensing the energy binding human and Autobot alike. The Matrix has chosen, he murmured, even as Oblivion's molten claws slammed him backward into the frozen cliffs. The sky burned crimson, the ice melted into fire, and amid the chaos, a voice older than creation itself whispered through every machine, every circuit, every star, the last prime has been found. And so began the Age of Legacy, a new war not for territory or dominance, but for the very existence of every world ever touched by Cybertron's spark. The earth burned beneath skies of molten fire as the aftermath of Oblivion's awakening spread across continents, turning oceans into storms and cities into graveyards of twisted metal. Where once mankind had stood in peace, now caught between titans of a war older than history itself, weeks had passed since the Battle of Antarctica, and the world had changed forever, its magnetic poles shifted, its atmosphere trembling under cosmic radiation unleashed by Oblivion's arrival. In the ruins of New York, human survivors moved like ghosts through the shadow of alien warships that hovered silently overhead, their engines humming like the heartbeat of a machine god. Optimus Prime stood at the edge of a shattered skyline, his armor scorched, his spark flickering with exhaustion, watching as Bumblebee and Arcee helped evacuate civilians. They fear us again, Arcee whispered, her optics dimming with guilt. We saved them once, and now they hide from us. Prime's voice was heavy with sorrow, fear is the price of memory, Arcee. But we must protect them even when they curse our names. Far above the stratosphere, Titanus Oblivion floated within a storm of debris, his colossal form absorbing solar energy, rebuilding his strength. This planet resists, he thundered into the void, but resistance is only the language of those who do not understand destiny. From the wreckage of the Antarctic battlefields, the reforged army had spread across the globe, harvesting technology and fusing it into their bodies. Their leader, the cruel Spectrian, a commander forged from the remains of fallen Autobots, now hunted the living under Oblivion's command. Meanwhile, Eli Carter awoke in a hidden chamber deep beneath the earth, surrounded by flickering holograms of long-dead primes. Vectorion's voice, now only a ghost of energy, spoke to him. "You have been chosen by the matrix of legacy. Through you, the essence of Cybertron's creation breathes again." Confused, terrified, and burning with new power, Eli stared at his reflection in the mirror of a Cybertronian relic. His veins pulsed faintly blue, his eyes reflecting ancient circuitry. "I'm not one of you," he said, trembling. "You are more than human now," Vectorion's echo replied. "You are the bridge between worlds, the legacy prime." Outside, storms raged across the planet as Oblivion extended his influence, transforming continents into metallic wastelands where trees turned to steel and rivers flowed with liquid energon. Humanity's armies fired nuclear weapons that vanished like dust against his armor. The United Nations collapsed, replaced by the Global Resistance Command, led by a hardened general named Mara Voss, who formed a fragile alliance with the remaining Autobots. Deep in the Nevada desert, an old Autobot base known as Outpost Phoenix became their last refuge. Bumblebee patched broken circuits, Cheater guarded the perimeter, and Mirage cracked grim jokes to hide his fear. Then came the message, an encrypted signal intercepted by Arcee containing coordinates deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Optimus knew what it meant. "The heart of Primordia," he whispered, "the birthplace of all Cybertronian sparks. If Oblivion finds it, he will rewrite the code of creation itself." The Autobots prepared for the impossible journey while Eli trained under Vectorion's spectral guidance, learning to channel the Matrix's power. He could now manipulate energon fields, heal damaged Cybertronian circuits, and see fragments of possible futures, though every use of power burned through his human body like fire. At night, he saw visions: Optimus falling, the Earth consumed, and Oblivion standing upon a throne of shattered planets. "We can still win," Eli muttered to himself, gripping the glowing shard of the Matrix. "Hope is the weapon they can't predict." When the Autobots departed for the Pacific, Oblivion sensed their movement and unleashed his newest creation, Nemesis Valkyra, a female warlord forged from the remains of a proto-prime, her armor black as the void and her blades humming with the energy of dying suns. She descended from the sky like an angel of annihilation, tearing through the Autobot convoy with terrifying precision. Bumblebee shouted, "Prime!" She's targeting the human. As Valkyra lunged for Eli, Optimus blocked her strike, their blades colliding in a blaze of light that split the ocean itself. "You were once of us," Optimus growled. Valkyra's voice was cold, metallic, unfeeling. "I was once life. Now I am Oblivion's justice." The battle raged beneath the sea, explosions lighting up the depths as Cheater and Rhinox fought off reforged hunters. Eli, trapped inside the command module, felt the Matrix pulse violently, flooding his mind with the voices of every prime before him: Sentinel, Alpha Trion, Solus Prime, and even Megatron's echo. "You must merge," they whispered, "you must become the bridge." In a surge of desperation, Eli reached out to Optimus through the Matrix's energy field, linking human and Autobot consciousness. For a moment, Prime felt human pain, Eli's fear, his memories, his hope, and Eli felt the weight of millions of years of war pressing on Optimus's spark. Together they unleashed a blast of light so powerful it disintegrated Valkyra's armor and sent Oblivion himself reeling from orbit. But the cost was immense. The Matrix shattered into fragments, embedding pieces of its core within Eli's heart and Optimus's chest. The sea boiled away, revealing the colossal structure beneath the heart of Primordia, a glowing labyrinth of pure creation energy. This is what he seeks, Optimus realized. The birthplace of Cybertron. As they approached, the sky darkened again. From space, Oblivion descended like a living comet, his body larger now, consuming the remnants of satellites and warships to rebuild himself. "You cannot destroy what began before your kind learned to speak," he thundered, each word shaking the ocean floor. "I am the Alpha of metal, and this world shall kneel." The Autobots rallied in defiance. Bumblebee fired his last rockets, Arcee's blades cut through waves of reforged, Mirage sacrificed his cloaking core to blind the enemy fleet. Eli stood between them all, glowing brighter than before, his voice now a fusion of human and Cybertronian tones. "No, Oblivion. You are not the Alpha, you are the error." The matrix fragments within him ignited, merging human will with Cybertronian essence, and his body transformed into a radiant armor of living light, the first human prime hybrid in the universe. He rose into the air, facing the Titan head-on as Optimus shouted, "Eli, no." But Eli only looked back once and said, "Freedom is the right of all sentient beings." Then he charged. The collision was apocalyptic, an eruption of energy that split the clouds, turning the Pacific into a storm of fire and light visible from every continent. Oblivion screamed as the Matrix's power seared through him, burning his circuits with the memory of creation itself, yet even as he fell, he whispered, "I am eternal, this is not the end." The blast left nothing but silence. The ocean calmed. The skies cleared. Optimus Prime knelt beside the smoldering crater where Eli had stood, finding only a fragment of armor glowing faintly blue. Bumblebee approached, voice trembling. "Is he gone?" Prime stared into the horizon, his voice breaking with sorrow and pride. "No, he has become what we could never be. He is the legacy." High above, in the coldness of space, a single spark of Oblivion's essence drifted toward the stars, whispering one final promise: the true war has yet to begin. And thus ended the second chapter of the Great Machine War Transformers, Legacy of the Primes, Part 2, the rise of the Legacy Prime as the universe itself began to tremble, waiting for the next storm to come. Centuries passed after the Battle of the Pacific, but the scars of that war still burned deep within the Earth's soul. The oceans had calmed, the skies healed, yet every thunderstorm still echoed faintly with the voice of Titanus Oblivion, whispering from the void between stars. Humanity had rebuilt itself from ashes, forging cities of hybrid metal and light using technology left behind by the Autobots, while legends of a being called the Legacy Prime, a man who became more than machine, more than God, had turned into a myth told in schools and temples, a story too impossible to be real. Yet far beyond human eyes, beyond solar winds and cosmic dust, something ancient moved again. In the blackness of interstellar space, a massive structure floated, the Ark of Infinity, an ancient Cybertronian vessel that had survived even the fall of Cybertron itself, drifting silently for eons. Within its core, fragments of Oblivion's consciousness had gathered, rebuilding themselves from atoms and memory, feeding on the energy of dying stars until a single crimson spark ignited once more. "The Prime thought he ended me," Oblivion growled as his form took shape, larger, darker, reborn from the fire of collapsed galaxies. "But I am the shadow of existence itself, as long as creation breathes, I endure." Meanwhile, on Earth, Optimus Prime stood atop a rebuilt fortress in what was once Nevada, his once brilliant armor now faded and cracked, his spark growing weaker with age. Bumblebee, older but still defiant, stood beside him. "You still watch the horizon," B said softly. "After all this time, do you still believe he's out there?" Optimus's optics flickered faintly as he answered, "The Matrix never dies, Bumblebee. It transforms." Unknown to them, deep within the planet's crust, Eli Carter, now long thought dead, lay preserved within a cocoon of crystalline energy at the planet's core, his body neither human nor machine, his soul merged with the fragments of the matrix of legacy. For centuries he had slept, his consciousness drifting through timelines, dreaming of both Cybertron and Earth, of Optimus's last words, of freedom. But his slumber was ending, for the matrix began to stir again, glowing brighter as something vast approached Earth. Across the Milky Way, alarms blared in every Autobot listening post as an object the size of a moon entered the system. The Arc of Infinity had arrived, and within it, Oblivion's full form now reborn as Oblivion Prime, the devourer of sparks cast his gaze upon the blue planet. "Your Prime failed to kill me," his voice thundered across communication networks, "and now I shall unmake this world and forge a new Cybertron from its core." On Earth, Optimus gathered what remained of the Autobots and their human allies Bumblebee, Arcee, Mirage, Cheater, Rhinox, and the now aging General Mara Voss. "This is the war to end all wars," Optimus declared, his voice trembling yet resolute. "We may not survive, but we will not fall." Humanity unleashed its combined fleet spaceborne warships powered by energon cores, each carrying fragments of Cybertronian design, soaring into orbit beside the Autobots. Above the planet, the heavens erupted as Oblivion's army poured from the Arc, millions of reforged sentinels, machines of pure energy and hate, descending like a metallic storm. The first wave struck Mars, turning it into ash. The second hit Earth's orbit, tearing through satellites and defense stations. Optimus charged first, leading the attack with Bumblebee and Arcee flanking him. The sky became fire, the stars themselves seemed to bleed. On the ground, humans and Cybertronians fought side by side for the first and perhaps last time in history. Eli Carter's body, far below, began to tremble as the matrix within him pulsed violently, responding to Oblivion's presence. His heart glowed bright enough to illuminate the entire core, and then, with a sound like thunder cracking through eternity, he awoke. Energy burst upward through the planet, sending shock waves across continents. "He rises," whispered Vectorion's fading voice. In a blinding flash of blue and silver, Eli emerged from the Earth's crust surrounded by spirals of cosmic light, his form now transcendent a fusion of flesh, metal, and pure energy, wings of luminous circuitry spreading from his back, his eyes burning like twin suns. "You've returned," Optimus said over the comms, his voice filled with awe. Eli's answer echoed through every mind on Earth, human and Cybertronian alike: the legacy never ended. It only waited for the right moment. He soared into space, passing through the shattered remnants of human ships, and faced Oblivion Prime head-on. The Titan laughed, his voice shaking planets. "You cannot destroy me, child. I am the first code, the original Prime." Eli hovered before him, the glow of the Matrix radiating from his chest. "Then let creation judge its first mistake," he replied, his voice both human and divine. The battle that followed transcended reality itself. When Oblivion struck, galaxies rippled; when Eli countered, time itself bent backward. Energy storms swallowed moons, and dimensional rifts tore open across the cosmos. On Earth, Optimus and Bumblebee fought through hordes of reforged soldiers, shouting through the chaos, "Hold the line, for legacy!" Stars exploded in the distance as Eli and Oblivion clashed again and again, their blows tearing through layers of existence, revealing glimpses of Cybertron's birth, of the very moment the primes were forged from the well of all sparks. "You cannot erase what you do not understand," Eli cried, channeling the entire Matrix's power, not as a weapon, but as creation itself. This war began with division, Autobot against Decepticon, order against chaos, but it ends with unity. Oblivion roared in defiance, "Unity is weakness." "No," Eli answered, "it is life." With one final surge, he reached through time, connecting every living Cybertronian spark Autobot, Decepticon, Maximal, Terran into one shared consciousness. Across space, machines paused, their optics glowing blue as they felt for the first time the heartbeat of the universe pulsing within them. Oblivion howled as the light consumed him, his colossal form disintegrating into particles of energy, his last words fading like smoke, "You cannot end me." The explosion that followed engulfed everything, then silence, a silence so complete that it felt like peace. When the light cleared, the arc of infinity was gone, the reforged army vaporized, and Earth's orbit calm once more. In the ruins of orbit, Optimus Prime floated, his systems failing, his optics dimming as he whispered, "Eli." A soft blue light descended, wrapping around him like a sunrise. Eli appeared, radiant but fading, his form dissolving into shimmering fragments of energy. "You kept your promise, Optimus," he said gently. "You protected them all." Prime tried to speak but could not. Eli smiled faintly. "You taught me what it means to be more than human, more than machine." As his essence began to fade into the starlight, he pressed a hand against Prime's chest, reigniting the Autobot's spark one last time. "The Matrix belongs to all who fight for freedom." His body burst into light, scattering across the galaxy like 1,000 new stars. On Earth, every surviving machine glowed for a brief moment, then went still, feeling a calm they had never known. Bumblebee looked up at the sky, voice breaking. "He's not gone, is he?" Optimus gazed into the heavens, the faint glimmer of blue stars spreading across the cosmos. "No," he said, his voice soft yet proud, "he has become the legacy itself." Years later, Earth and Cybertron would finally be reborn together as new Primordia, a world where human and Cybertronian walk side by side, no longer enemies, no longer separate species, but one living civilization forged by sacrifice and hope. Statues of Optimus and Eli Carter, the Legacy Prime, stood at the heart of the city, reminders that even in the darkest ages of metal and war, freedom will always find a way to rise again. And far beyond the stars, where light meets infinity, a faint voice echoed through eternity Optimus's words, spoken now by the universe itself: "Freedom is the right of all sentient beings."